He used to put on a big show. He would go do a seminar. This was before the internet, and before he had enough money to get on network TV. So what he used to do was he used to put on a big show, have a huge riser full of flowers. I mean, he would buy thousands of dollars of flowers just for his show. And they would burn all this incense, and people would come in and they'd be hit with this wall of incense and flowers. And then Maharishi would come out. And of course, he was on a big raised platform, and he had this beautiful golden seat. Probably wasn't really gold, it was probably just, gold paint. But still, it looked very impressive, And he would come out there with his long hair, with streaked with gray, right? And he'd come and he would giggle a lot. He would giggle a lot. You want to know the absolute truth? People bought it, hook, line, and sinker. Huh? He was a comedian. He was a comedian. This funny little Indian guy. Right? Only $75. Now it costs $1,500 for your mantra, your TM mantra. Huh? Same thing you can get by reading any Vedic literature for free. And he's selling $75, now $1,500. It's an old trick. In India, it's called selling water by the river. There's somebody standing next to the river selling water. What is this? But if he puts on a good enough show, he'll get customers. He starts singing and dancing. Get your water. Na, 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 na. People will give him some money just because he's good. Good dancer. So this is what's going on. People have no idea what real spiritual life is. And so many, many cheaters are coming, cheating them, taking their money, and going away. And this is a kind of mystic power, actually. You can get a little mystic power, and then you can flim-flam people, take their money, and go away. And they can't do anything about it, because after all, they gave the money of their own free will. It's not like you stole it from them. But it's a kind of cheating business, just like we talked about the other day, selling a steering wheel and calling it a car, selling a hubcap and calling it a car. People who give yoga classes are like this. Yoga. Well, what does yoga really mean? Yogo yukta prasanatma na soshati na kankshati. If you're really in yoga, you have no hankering, no lamentation, no material attachment, no worries, no problems, no difficulties at all. If you're really in yoga. So people come along and then they offer yoga classes. And then when you go, and what do? Sit this way, stand on your head, bend this way, twist like that, do this, do that, exercise. What? That's yoga? That's not yoga. That's not yoga as defined in the Vedic literatures. They changed the definition of the word. Just like Sankirtan. If you go to any ISKCON temple and you hang out for a little while, you'll see the devotees going out on Sankirtan. And what is Sankirtan? Selling books, or maybe stickers of the local football team, or maybe it's some rock, well, now it would be CDs, used to be albums back in the days. Now it's probably CDs, or maybe even thumb drives with some rock songs on it. Selling, getting money, somehow or other, anyway. And what is this? This is Sankirtan? Well, how did that become Sankirtan? Sankirtan means you go out on the street with a company of devotees and you chant the holy name, and you get people to hear the holy name and they become devotees. It doesn't mean just collecting money. How did that happen? Well, it's a long story, but basically they redefined the term. They took something with one meaning and they gave it a different meaning. They took a process, a very exalted process of spiritual advancement, and they turned it into a very low, just money collecting business. Sankirtan. I've gone on Sankirtan. Oh, how did you do today? Oh, I did great. Distributed 50 books, collected $2,000. Oh boy, that's fantastic. Good preaching, Prabhu. But as we pointed out, they're not establishing a personal relationship with these people. They're just giving them a book, getting some money somehow or other, usually by some tricky method, and the person goes away feeling burned, feeling cheated. It doesn't matter whether you discover that you were cheated or you feel that you were cheated in the first 5 minutes, or whether it takes you years to figure out that you were cheated. There are some devotees who took initiation from unqualified gurus who later on fell down. It took them years to figure out that they had been cheated. How do you think they feel? We don't want to give anyone that feeling, either immediately or 100 years later on. We want to give everyone the complete bona fide process as it is given in the scriptures. We do not want anyone ever to feel that one of our men cheated them. Now, you can be very, very clever. You can be very well spoken. You can even, look the part and the whole thing, Wear the clothes, use all the buzzwords, the whole bit, Put on the whole show. But if what you're giving isn't the real process, guess what? Sooner or later, people are going to figure it out. You know why? Because every one of us, every single living entity is a conscious, spiritual being. And if your process doesn't work and doesn't give the results that you claim it's going to, then your process is cheating. And what is the result? Śrīla Prabhupada defined it perfectly. Krishna consciousness. You see? Not Krishna thinkingness, not Krishna wondering aboutness, not Krishna eatingness, not Krishna knowingness, not Krishna thinking aboutness, not Krishna politics, not Krishna work, not Krishna money collection, not Krishna building temples, not Krishna anything, Krishna consciousness. And so if you don't know what consciousness is, and you can't explain to the people that you are interacting with what consciousness is and how to change their present consciousness into Krishna consciousness, you're cheating. And sooner or later, they're going to figure this out. Doesn't matter whether it takes them 5 minutes or 5 years. They're going to figure it out, and your name's going to be mud. So that's what's happened to our Krishna consciousness movement. We had a bunch of people who did not know what is Krishna consciousness, and they were teaching Krishna consciousness. So guess what happened? They cheated everybody. Because they didn't even know. They couldn't even define what Krishna consciousness was, and they changed the meaning to fit their abilities. Instead of changing their abilities to fit what Krishna consciousness really is. So if any of that is going on among my people, I want that to stop right now. You have to learn what is consciousness and be able to explain it to others and explain the process for changing consciousness so that you can convince them and teach them how to change their consciousness into Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you're a cheater. You're a cheater. And I won't put up with it for even a second. If I hear anybody preaching and misrepresenting what our school is, I'm going to jump right in their face. Because this is exactly what has ruined Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. This is exactly how it failed, why it failed. That people who didn't have the first idea what consciousness is even, never mind Krishna, people who aren't self-realized themselves were trying to teach others to be self-realized. That's cheating. That's cheating. So the first thing you have to understand, well, what you are engaged in here. What is consciousness? And what is Krishna? And what is Krishna consciousness? You have to understand that accurately. Then you can explain it to others. Then you can pursue it yourself. How can you try to attain Krishna consciousness if you don't know what it is? And the attributes of a Krishna conscious person are